Dividing decimals. Like in the previous clip for multiplying decimals, there's a nice quick and easy method to divide decimals. So let's have a look at this one. We have 0.8 divided by 0.02. So what I'm going to do first in order to divide these two numbers is I'm going to write them as follows. So 0.8 over 0.02. Now we can do this because this line means divide. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to multiply the top, the 0.8, and the bottom 0.02 by a multiple of 10. Now don't forget, if you multiply the top and the bottom of a fraction, it must be the same number. That means if I times the top by 10, I would have to times the bottom by 10. Now the reason we're going to do that is because we want to get rid of the decimal on the top and the decimal on the bottom. Now if I was to multiply by 10, that would get rid of that decimal because 0.8 times 10 is 8. But if I multiplied this by 10, I would still have 0.2. So therefore I'm going to times the top and the bottom by 100. So this will give me 80 divided by 2. Now as you can see, 80 divided by 2 is a lot easier than 0.8 divided by 0.02. So 80 divided by 2, the answer is 40. Now just in case you're doubting whether 0.8 divided by 0.02 is the same as 80 divided by 2, let me just make this clear. So 80 divided by 2 is 40. If I was to multiply the 80 and the 2 by 10, let's write it below. So it would be 800 divided by 20. I've changed the top and the bottom, but because I multiplied the top and the bottom of this fraction by the exact same number, I've not changed the value. As you can just see, that 800 divided by 20 is also 40. Again, if I want to multiply the top and the bottom by another number, let's say 2, so that would be 1600 divided by 40. The answer is still 40. So as long as we're multiplying the top and the bottom by the same number, we're not actually changing the value of this here. So now that you know this method, let's try another one. Right, so the first thing we do is we write 0.04 divided by 0.005 as a fraction. Because don't forget, this line means divide, so it's the same as the question. We now want to make sure there's no decimal in this fraction, so we will times the top and the bottom by an appropriate multiple of 10 to get rid of the decimals. Times by 10 is not enough for the bottom or the top. Times by 100 is fine for the top, but you'll still have a decimal on the bottom, so we're going to times by 1000. Now don't forget, as long as we times the top and the bottom of the fraction by the same amount, which is 1000, we are not changing the value of this at all. So now we have it in a much easier format, which is 40 divided by 5. 40 divided by 5 is 8. And that is your answer. Now this example is slightly different and you'll see why in a minute. So first thing I do is I rewrite it as 0.01 over 0.02. Now to get rid of the decimal on the top and on the bottom, I'm going to multiply by 1000. So that gives me 1 over 20. So you can see the difference with this one is the bottom is bigger than the top. Therefore, this will give me a decimal answer. However, In maths, it's just as appropriate to leave the answer as a decimal. So my answer is 1/20th. Here is another one like our last example. So the first step is we rewrite it as 0.02 divided by 0.8. This time we need to times the top and the bottom by 100 to get rid of the decimal. So that will give me 2 divided by 80. Now, as I said before, when the bottom is greater than the top, it's absolutely fine to leave your answer as a fraction. However, there's one thing we must do with this answer. Can you remember what that is from an earlier clip? That's right, we have to simplify our fraction. So we divide the top and the bottom by 2. And that will give us our final answer of 1/40th. Now it's your turn to answer some questions. Pause the video and have a go. How did you get on? Here are the answers. If you answered any incorrectly, have a look back through the video and then try again.